What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Press Box. I'm your host, Russ Morris, and we got another packed episode for you today. It's Friday, February 6th, and we're getting ready to start Super Bowl talk. So, Super Bowl will begin on Sunday, the Patriots and Seahawks. But before that, last night, the NFL had their honor show, and we have a lot to break down. Um, Matthew Stafford wins the NFL MVP. Jackson Smith and Jigba wins the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Miles Garrett, uh, as a shock to nobody, wins the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. Uh, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel wins the is named a NFL Head Coach of the Year, and then the uh, NFL Hall of Fame class of 2026 was announced, and it is Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. Now, that one in particular is surprising to me. Not the first four names that I named, but having Roger Craig named to the Hall of Fame class. Now, this isn't to discredit anything that Roger Craig did over his career, but he was listed on the same ballot with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. So they, I understand why Craig was in, but I don't know why they had to limit it to only five when they could have put the NFL's winningest head coach in terms of playoff success, the second most winningest head coach in terms of regular season wins, and then wins in total. So I don't know. I don't know why it only has to be limited to five, but no surprise that Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, and Luke Kuechly were all first ballot Hall of Famers. So congratulations to uh, all of those that received the award. Uh, I looked at the results for the MVP voting. Matthew Stafford won it. Drake May came in second. I think he had 20 something uh, votes as well. Josh Allen came in third, and I think with about two votes. And then surprisingly, Justin Herbert finished in fourth place. How? Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. I mean, he's. I mean, I don't know how Justin Herbert constituted a single vote for MVP this year. I don't think he was on anybody's MVP radar. I know Trevor Lawrence wasn't. I know if there's anybody that had a case, it possibly could have been Trevor Lawrence. Maybe. Again, I emphasize the word maybe when I put that out there. But uh, yeah, it's just that is wild to me. Um, but yeah, so no surprises there in terms of who won the MVP award. Um, but yeah, that's about all that I followed for the. If I'm leaving anybody out, y'all can please mention that uh, in the comments. I was busy watching NCAA the uh, first games of NCAA college softball last night, and also uh, there was a big marquee matchup for women's college basketball between the Texas Longhorns and the LSU Tigers for women's college basketball. It's battle of number 4 versus number 5, and Texas prevailed. So uh, I was busy keeping an eye on those games last night. Um, the number one team in, sorry, co number one team, the Texas Tech Red Raiders softball team, they derailed McNeese 13-3 last night. They take on the Texas A&M Aggies Saturday, and then the Texas Longhorns, the defending college softball national champions, They take on Nebraska, and they're taking part in the UTSA Roadrunner Classic this weekend. So there's a lot of, if you're a softball fan like I am, I'll be consuming a lot of softball over the weekend. Um, so it's we're about to start kicking in to that time of year where there's going to be a lot of things happening. Um, Another big deal that went down the other day, Anthony Davis is no longer a Dallas Maverick. He is now a Washington Wizard, and the Mavericks got back Marvin Bagley, Chris Middleton, and one other player for, and then they also got two first round picks and 3 second round picks. So they are going to be looking toward the future, and they also still have the off season to decide if they want to pursue a trade. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, is going to stay in Milwaukee for the remainder of the season, which is smart by the Milwaukee Bucks because teams that would have been interested in making a move for him that are contenders, like the Spurs or the Rockets, or maybe even the Knicks. Even maybe I'm just throwing them out there for conversation. They feel like that they're in a good position to win. They are in win now mode, and so if they feel like that they have a disappointing end to their playoff run, then maybe they'll try to put something together to try to go after Giannis. But as a basketball fan, and there was a sports talk show host that brought this up. As a basketball fan, it just sucks that we get another year of Giannis wasted. Ever since he won the championship in 2021, um, they fired their head coach. I think a year or two after they won the championship. They've had a lot of turnover. They brought in Doc Rivers, who I believe the game has passed him by, but I kind of understand why he's there. But they haven't done anything. They tried to do something by bringing Damian Lillard in, and that really didn't pan out because Damian Lillard is now back in Portland. So that just it sucks because he's one of the best players out there on the court today. It's him, Joker, uh, Luca, and just guys like that, and hell, even SGA, even out there as well. So I mean, the more that we get to see Giannis play, the better it is for the league overall. Because over in the East, there's really nothing. Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, that's about it. I mean, Jason Tatum is out with the Celtics, but Jaylen Brown is keeping everything afloat for the Boston Celtics right now. There's really not that big of a superstar presence like that can captivate a league right now over in the East, aside from what's going on over in New York with the Knicks. So, and then there was also a rumor that Giannis was also linked in talks, or that the Bucks were in links with talks with the Miami Heat and trying to see if they can get Giannis going that way. That the off season they could get a better deal as opposed to what they're being trying to force to do. Golden State now has Kristaps Porzingis. They gave away uh, Buddy Hield, and I forgot the name of the other player, but yeah. So they're going to pair Kristaps Porzingis with Draymond Green, and they're going to see if they can't help Steph Curry make another run to a championship this year. I don't know if that's going to pan out the way that Golden State thinks it will be, considering how brutal the West is, but remains to be seen. Um, Another one that is interesting to me is that John Morant did not get moved. I think John Morant will get moved in the off season, as I know the Memphis Grizzlies were in talks to trying to. I think the thought process is the previous trade that they made to try to clear up money space, so that way they can get off of his contract when they do trade him. I think that's what that was. But again, this off season is going to be wild and woolly in the NBA, like it typically always is. Every so often, that off season over there, it comes in cycles in terms of how many big name players and key factors move. Ja just needs a reset. I think he needs a reset from Memphis uh, to get back to where he was before, the captivating player that he was when he took the league by storm. But that's where we are in the NBA after the trade deadline closed yesterday. But let's start talking about the Super Bowl that's going to take place on Sunday. The Seattle Seahawks are favored to win, I think, by 5.5, 4.5 points. Um, I think they have the skill position group advantage. As far as defensive advantage, I don't know because teams have been able to move the ball on Seattle. Now, granted, I know that most of those points came in for by via the Rams because they played the Rams 3 times, but they have been that defense is susceptible to quarterback runs and yeah, I think their back end can give up some has given up some big plays. And that's what the Patriots do. They love taking big shots. Now, it hasn't come in the playoffs, and really because they haven't really needed to do so. If uh, if we're being honest, that defense has carried the lion's share of the momentum. It's taken the lion's share of responsibilities so far this postseason for the Patriots. Um, I think the coaching advantage that the Patriots have with Mike Vrabel being a former Patriot, playing and winning in 3 Super Bowls, and then Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator. This is his 9th Super Bowl that he will be coaching in, and that is amazing to me. So he will have the schematic advantage. The Patriots will have the schematic advantage in terms of to prep and game plan, how to go through everything, especially the halftime, how you can go through a longer halftime than what you have experienced throughout the season. So I like the Patriots to win 31-28. I think it's going to be score. I think it's going to be scoring. I think it'll be a similar fashion to how the two teams met in the 2014-2015 Super Bowl. They're both gonna. It'll be a defensive stalemate at first. They'll figure each other out. And then I think Sam Darnold will turn the ball over one too many times. I think he finishes the game with 2 interceptions. I do think Drake May does have an intercept. I think he does put the ball on the ground. I think maybe 1 or 2 times. I don't think he'll throw a pick. I think he'll give it away via fumble. But I like the Patriots to win 31-28 in that one. So I think the key of the game for the Patriots is going to be how Will Campbell uh, can handle going up against that Seattle defense. I think the Patriots are going to have to rely a lot on Stephon Diggs' leadership, try to get open in space. If the Seahawks are going to win, I think it's going to have to be that Jackson Smith and Jigba is just not going to be. He's just not going to be denied because he's got the best thing going for JSN is that Cooper Kupp is on the roster, and that Cooper Kupp is going to be he's going to be looked at for their leadership as far as Super Bowl experience on that offense. So it's going to be a very, very intriguing game. Um, the Big 12, moving on, uh, the Big 12 released its baseball preseason uh, preseason poll based on the coaches for the conference standings. This is what I found interesting. The normal figures that you see in years past in the Big 12 conference, like Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor to a certain extent. Um, TCU is projected to win the conference. Texas Tech is favored to finish 9th behind Cincinnati. Um, it's not good if you are a Tech fan, because everybody that the Big 12 is projected to have at this point in preseason talk, they're projected to get at least 7 teams in. and I think 4 have a very big possibility to host a regional. Um, yeah, Tech has had a major issue the last 2 to 3 years, ever since the emphasis on the transfer portal and NIL. They have fallen apart. They haven't been able to keep up. They've been relying on they're going to build things from high school recruiting, whereas everybody else in the conference has just passed them by, pretty much. And for as tradition rich as that baseball program has been ever since here recently, um, 10 years ago, they made it to their second ever College World Series, or they were contending for a College World Series. And it was in 2014 that they made it to Omaha for the first ever time. 2016 they won their first game, and then the rest is, I mean, everybody in Lubbock knows the rest. But it's just fascinating to me how far that they've fallen. In 2019, they finished in the Final Four uh, in the games at Omaha, and then in 2020 they had the number one ranked team in the country before the pandemic happened and the baseball season was canceled, and they haven't been the same since. They really haven't. I don't know what in Lubbock has happened, but take a look over at the SEC though. Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC, and it's like they pick up right where they left off when they were in the Big 12. Um, Texas is just like whatever what they have done to that baseball program to keep them, or sorry, what they have done for their NIL collective and the attack and the aggressiveness in the transfer portal to keep them proactive in their spring sports, all but men's basketball, has been impressive to me. Um, Texas, I think, I think it's between them and LSU to win the SEC. I like, I like LSU to win the conference, to win the SEC conference this year. I do think Texas will have a say in it. I think LSU will win the regular season, but I think Texas will win the SEC tournament. Okay, now going back to the Big 12, I think I think Arizona wins the regular season, but I think TCU winds up winning the Big 12 tournament. I think the teams that host or the regional bids out of the Big 12, I think will be uh, TCU, Arizona, Arizona State, Houston, Cincinnati, and West Virginia. That's what I think. And then over in the SEC, it's going to be your regulars: Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, Florida, Arkansas, you name it. Yeah, I mean it's pretty much Fandy. It's pretty much a no-brainer. um, but yeah, so that's where we're at right now on this Friday, uh, heading into a full stacked weekend. College basketball is going to take place. We get Duke in North Carolina meeting up Saturday. That's going to be a fun game, though. Though I do expect Duke to come out and win on top. I think Duke is pretty much legit. I think they are a legit national championship contender, and I'm not saying that just because of the media bias. I'm just saying that because of how consistent they've been able to be all year long. Um, Coach Shire, he does look like a Coach K uh, disciple of what's going on over in Duke. So um, I think I think Arizona will have a say. I mean, are the only undefeated. My issue with Arizona in years past is we've seen this story out of the Wildcats before, where they have this team that it goes on a dominant run back when they were in the Pac-12, but then as soon as the NCAA tournament hit, they could not get out of the round of 32. If Arizona can get out of the round of 32 and they can make it to the Elite Eight, I think Arizona will have a legit chance at winning the national championship. It's just the Big 12 is brutal. It's so brutal. It is a dog eat dog conference. At times, the middle of the conference has eaten each other alive because the top half has separated itself, and then the middle part of the conference, when they get away from each other, they have we've seen it before that the middle part of the conference can make it to the Sweet 16, can make it to the Elite Eight. So that just jury's still out on how the rest of the basketball season is going to go. I mentioned earlier that spring training is back. First game for the Texas Rangers. Shout out to Rangers. Is on February 20th. They take on the Royals for the first game of spring training. Um, Rangers had a very proactive offseason. They traded some prospects to get Mackenzie Gore away from the Nationals, and so now Mackenzie Gore will have a chance to and get back on the right track for him and bolster a pitching rotation in Arlington that is pretty solid. The only thing the Rangers still need is a right-handed bat, and or left-handed or right, either way, they need another bat in the lineup. They lost Adolis Garcia uh, this past off season. They did not bring him back, um, so they lost a fan favorite, but they still do have. I'm sorry, and they traded away Marcus Simeon for Brandon Nimmo. So let's see how that goes. Corey Seager is still a Ranger, even though there were rumors about teams trying to trade for him. The Rangers shut that down almost immediately. So they still have Josh Young, Wyatt Langford, Corey Seager, and then you add Nimmo to the lineup. Jock Peterson is still a Ranger. Um, I think I would not be surprised if he has a solid start to the season and is consistent over 2 to 3 months. I do not foresee him being a long term piece for the Rangers. Um, just just because it's just for whatever reason it hasn't fit. I mean, yeah, he had that spell with the Diamondbacks and he had pretty solid numbers, but as soon as he got to Arlington, his stuff has kind of wavered. So if he's able to regather himself and find it within him to try to get back on track, I could see the Rangers trade. I could see the Rangers trading him for another piece or two uh, later on uh, this season. One thing that has come out of the winter meetings is the trade deadline is now August 2nd of later this year. So that's going to make for it. The trade deadline in Major League Baseball is always fun to keep track of, but now so more than ever, it's going to be wild, woolly, and hectic. Starting next week on Monday, we will recap the Super Bowl. Um, and then going forward, it will just be talking some baseball all the way up until opening day because we are 49 days away from baseball officially taking back over uh, on our TV screens. So, what are your thoughts on everything going on this weekend? What are you looking forward to the most? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? What are your thoughts on Matthew Stafford winning the MVP? And what are your thoughts on the NFL Hall of Fame in general? Do you think they got the class? Do you think they got the class right? Is there somebody that they should have included, or is there somebody they should have left off? Let me know what you think. This has been another episode of the Press Box. Russ Morris signing off. See you, everybody.